Hello, everybody. It's me, Gary. It's Watch Along Leeds, and tonight I'm going to be talking with Stu, and we're talking a little bit about the takeover, Paraag Marathe, and it's all been finally confirmed from the EFL that Leeds United is now under new ownership. What are the plans going forward? There's a lot of stuff circulating around online. One of the things I've seen, Stu, is Sinistera has apparently said that he's going to be staying. He wants to show his gratitude to the fans. There's a lot of talk of loyalty, and he's not going anywhere. Stu, what do you make of that?
Well, if it's true, Gary, I respect that. I respect that he wants to, he wants to stay and he wants to be loyal to fans and stuff. I get it. I understand it, but I just think, me personally, the only reason why Sinister is going to stay at Leeds is because no one else is going to come in for him with his injury record.
Yeah. There's no doubt that his injury record isn't that good, and it's the same with one or two other individuals. I think we're going to have problems getting a decent market value for them, or what we think is a decent market value, and we're going to have to offload them based on what the actual injury record is. I mean, if that's the case, and injury records do have a say in how much we get for a player if that player leaves. What are we going to do about Patrick Bamford, for example? Not much news about Patrick Bamford coming out. No. Not that I've seen, nothing circulating. And it seems to me that we're still... there's still a lot of questions to be answered. Now, on our podcasts, we like to try and answer the tougher questions, don't we, Stu?
As tough as my brain, I'll let you go, Gary. Yeah.
We've just been talking about how if some things are said can be quite hurtful, some comments can be quite hurtful, but or not offensive, but probably regretful perhaps. And if you commented on ours, then we're going to read them out. As long as it doesn't breach any guidelines on YouTube or anything like that. Then we will read the comments out. But as for Paraag, I think that's how I pronounce the name, Paraag. We're going to just have a little look at this. So there's one or two questions that that I have about what's been said in this interview. Now, I haven't seen it all. Right, I've seen the first 5 minutes of it, and what we're referring to, you can see it in the link. It's Leeds United official channel. 399,000 subscribers on that channel, and it looks to me, I don't know about you, Stu, but it looks rather scripted in a funny kind of way, in a way that we've got the presenter at home. The camera's wobbling around a little bit. And it makes, he's talking to Matt Lewis as I'll just read the description. In his first interview with the club, the new Leeds United chairman, so he's the chairman, sits down to talk to Matt Lewis as the 49ers enterprises taker over the club. It says taker 49ers enterprises taker of the club is confirmed. I'm not so sure that makes sense. Let me read that again. Matt Lewis is, as the 49ers enterprises taker of the club is confirmed. The pair discussed plans for the transfer window, Ellen Road Stadium development, appointment of Daniel Farker, and goals for the 23-24 championship campaign. Get exclusive Leeds United. There's a bit of standard blurb at the bottom with links to here, there, and everywhere to do with Leeds United. So we might have just had a chat about Paraag just before we started this live, and there's a couple of things that we need to just have a little talk about. If you've not seen these already, folks, then we're going to have a little look here, and I'll try and zoom these in so you can get a better view if you're looking on a mobile device. It says, statement, today Leeds United Football Club can announce that the EFL has approved the sale of the club to 49ers Enterprises, paving the way for immediate transition of ownership. I'm just going back there, making sure that that's highlighted properly for you. Paraag Marathe, previously vice chairman and board member of the club, will take over as Leeds United chairman. In this new role, Marathe will oversee all aspects of the club, including football and business operations, and drive the strategy to fight for promotion back to the Premier League in the 23-24 season. Marathe takes over from Andrea Radrazani, who has been majority owner of Leeds United since 2017. Angus Kinnear, CEO of Leeds United and board member, will remain in his current position and continue to direct the club's day-to-day operations. Rudy Celine Thomas, founder and managing partner of Mastery, will join the board as co-owner and vice chairman of the club. Right. This is an important moment for Leeds United, and we are already hard at work, said Marathe. This transition is a necessary reset to chart a new course for the club. We have already appointed a highly respected first-team manager with a track record of success, and we are confident Leeds will field a competitive squad to contend for promotion.
I think Gary's frozen.
Supporters and the Leeds and Yorkshire communities proud. Not a bad statement. I think the kind of thing you hope to hear. Yeah, Celine Thomas adds, with my family hailing from Leeds, it's an honour to be able to uplift this incredible community. This is more than just an opportunity, it's a personal mission. The chance to reinvigorate the cherished Leeds culture, to create a platform that attracts the world's finest players and build a truly global brand that celebrates diversity. A prospect that thrills me. Now, this next bit's a little bit more interesting. 49ers Enterprises, led by Marathe and 49ers CEO Jed York. Now, this guy has been at Elland Road on a couple of occasions. Has steadily supported the increased has steadily supported and increased its investment in Leeds United over the last 5 years. Moving forward, the group will look to enhance all aspects of the club, both on and off the pitch. Marathe, Kinnear, and the club's recently appointment of Daniel Farker as first team manager. The club's leadership has also been laying the groundwork to build a successful squad by retaining key players from last season's team, as well as bringing in new talent. So more changes to the squad. 49ers Enterprises is bringing fresh leadership, management and commitment to investment, which I'm confident will meet our ambitions to compete for promotion and remain in the top flight as an established Premier League club, said Kinnear. I know Paraag, Rudy and 49ers Enterprises will keep supporters central to their plans. I hope so. During their custodianship, and I am excited to work in realising the true potential of this great club. Now, speaking of the custodianship, Radrazani was speaking in a Sky Sports interview, and he said that when he took over Leeds, revenues were about 34 million, and then by the time he finished, it was 210 million. So, I mean, he's done quite well out of the sale, hasn't he? I think. Let's be honest. He could have got a lot more if we'd remained in the Premier League, but somehow, against his wishes, we managed to make it possible to get relegated from Premier League. I mean, corruption and money in sport, these are two things that are hot topics going around at the minute. Radrazani said, "It's been an honour to guide Leeds United over the last 6 years and to spend so much time with the best fan base in the world. 49ers Enterprises have been fantastic partners for years, and I'm confident they will take Leeds to the next level. I mean, uh, it's all kind of nicey, isn't it? This handover talk and all this. I'm not so sure there's anything with any substance in it. You know, now he's gone, or has he gone? This is the thing, because you never know with Radrazani. Maybe he's put a little bit in. If he was a true fan, he might have left a bit of investment with 49ers and said, "Here, I want a bit of the action as well going forward, but I don't want anything to do with the club or the running of it." More information can be found on the Leeds website. 49ers Enterprise is a strategic arm of San Francisco 49ers, which is what we said before. It means that San Francisco 49ers have zero input into the club, right? It's a complete separate legal entity. Stu and I spoke about that last time. 49ers focused on investments. Oh, hello. What are you doing here? Oh, I've got a little visitor. Yeah. Can I? 49ers focused on investments, teams, leagues, and other sports properties. 49ers in Enterprises. Oh, dearie me. Can you hear that? Led by President Paraag. Right, we're going to have a look at this video then. And what we'll do is we'll go from there. Hopefully it comes on. I'm just going to cue it up now, Stu. Yeah. Can you see that, Stu? Has that come up? Has the video come up now? Oh yeah, there we go.
Well, there we are.
There we go. So I'm just we're gonna play that. My little man has woken up and he's got something to say. So I'm just gonna try and send him back to bed. Oh, Mummy's come to save the day, hopefully. So there we go.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official Leeds United podcast with me, Matthew Lewis. I know you've all been starved of news lately. I am very pleased to tell you that today I'm joined by a perhaps familiar name to some of you, albeit in a shiny new role. So please, without further ado, welcome to the show, the new Leeds United chairman, Paraag Marathe. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. It's a long time coming. Excited to finally be here and doing this podcast with you.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute roller coaster of, few years actually, but specifically the last few weeks. You've obviously had your hands full getting this takeover over the line. How are you feeling now that it's done?
I'm feeling inspired, probably is the best word to use, because there's just so much work to do. There's so much work to do to obviously get back up in the Premier League, but more deeper than that and bigger than that, just get this club back to where I think it belongs, both on and off the pitch. We want this club to be something that everyone can be proud of, not just players and coaches, but supporters and sponsors and just everyone associated with global football. It's something that is inspiring to me to be able to finally have a chance. And really only as a steward, I'm just carrying the torch.
So I think some of us might have heard the Just Joe podcast in the past where, and he rightly said that when you're running a football club, you are the custodian, aren't you? Just give me a second. You're not, you're the owner, but that's a temporary thing. And then that's going to pass down as the group or as time goes by. Big Mally is commenting, Marathe is making all the right noises, as did Rads when he took over from Chelino. Yeah. Phil says, we can hear that, Chico, right? That's my brother. Beware of copyright issues. I'll tell you about that, Big Mally, just a minute. And it looks like my boy's woken up, so I'm in a bit of trouble now. He might have to come and join me in a minute. So copyright issues. If it's classed as a rework, then there are no copyright issues. So commentary and reaction videos and all that kind of thing. Let's have a look at that, Gary. Right, okay, there we go. So we'll just go and play that again. I'll carry on
behalf of everybody else. So it's just to finally have a chance to be able to try to do that is really inspiring.
I don't want to go too much into the intricacies of business negotiations, but obviously this one, it took a little while. We've been waiting on a few things. Can you take us through a little bit of what this process has been like and why it took a little bit longer than expected for the last few weeks?
Yeah, certainly. In full transparency, we had everything done and every box checked and ready to do the takeover had we stayed up. And that was going to be a fairly easy handoff because months and months of work had gone into it at that point to get to that point. Of course, when we got relegated, that opened up a whole new can of worms and us trying to figure out, how we do this. Obviously, a different league approval, going from the PL to the EFL and going through all of that. And so it just took a little bit of time. And Andrea and I first had to get through our piece. And that took a little bit of time. And then the rest has been just waiting for some of the formalities. I would say that time, just because the approval time and all of those things have taken a little bit longer than we wanted. That doesn't mean that we were slowing the train down for everything we needed to do to get this club ready for that first match. We went through dozens of interviews of first team managers. We went through dozens of interviews of football people who could help us and really feel good about the direction that we're going and initiated a number of conversations with players. And so we feel really good. Obviously, the announcement of Daniel took a little bit longer than maybe some other clubs, but there was a lot of work that went in behind the scenes before that and prior to that and now during that. So we're catching up fairly quickly.
I mean, obviously, the fans will be thrilled to know that you guys have been working away in the background, and I want to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is as we said, isn't it, Stu? When we're talking about the acquisition of a football club, that it's not like going down to Asda or Tesco and buying a can of Coke or a bottle of lager or a bottle of wine. It's a very complicated matter. There's a lot of different bits and pieces that need to be done. What's included, what's not included. And today we find out that the club has been listed, or the stadium has been listed of significant. I can't quite remember the wording. Significant value in the community. So there are protections at the stadium now about what they can and can't do, and that's been dealt with by Leeds City Council. So a lot of bits and pieces have been ironed out. I thought that had already been done, but it has actually been confirmed today that Leeds have got that sorted out now, that the stadiums is protected under local bylaws, etc. So there's still, like I say, there's still a lot of stuff to be ironed out. And I think he said there that without going into too much detail. So it's clear that I think when you and I spoke previously in a live stream that, we were hoping that negotiations were going to go on and things are going on behind closed doors that most folk aren't going to be privy to. As fans, we're not privy to that sort of thing. We're not shareholders. Now, if you want to really, really know, and you've got a few million quid spare, like Jordan Spaeth or whoever else, then hopefully you're then going to find out the inner workings about the football club, the accounts and all the rest of it, and be privy to some of the conversations that are going on. All right, let's roll on and see where we go then.
We'll talk about Daniel Farke and potentially the squad. But before that, I think there would be a great opportunity for the fans to get to know you, really. You've been at the club now for several years with the 49ers Enterprises as minority shareholders. But you've probably gone under the radar a little bit with many fans. Can you explain a little bit about who you are and what's brought you to this point as our new chairman?
Yeah, certainly. So, it's been an interesting ride the last 5 or 6 years. The best way I can describe it is as I've said in many other media inquiries, I've been a passenger on the bus or a passenger on the plane. And so I haven't really had my chance at the controls, but I've had a firsthand front seat view of how a football club runs. And, when it came time for me to apply my knowledge, I have a much better understanding of what I want to do, what I don't want to do, the similarities and the differences between American sport and European sport and English football. And so I've learned a lot over that time. I think, as I've said in a lot of the coach and manager interviews that I've done, I think I'm a little bit different. I think I'm different from maybe your typical chairman and owner. And I think I'm different for a couple of reasons. Two main reasons, really. Number one, unfortunately for me, I guess, I'm not a fifth generation multi-billionaire that is doing this for a hobby or because, I want to play fantasy football and kill some time. In fact, that's quite the opposite of what I am. I sort of made my way on my own, came up in a very middle-class upbringing, and I love sports. I grew up loving sports. I ate the sports page for breakfast. I consumed every word every single morning, and I just love it. That's first and foremost who I am. Is I love competition. I love winning. I love putting a team together and being a part of that team to win. And so, and I do this. I've always had that chip on my shoulder mentality because I'm not doing this as a hobby. This is life for me. I get butterflies in my stomach the night before matches. I can't sit down. In fact, I hate sitting down at Ellen Road at matches because I just can't stand it. I have so much energy, kinetic energy, in and about me. But like, I just think for me, this is not. This is like something that I'm just meant to do because I'm a supporter first. And so that's very different. I think the second thing that differentiates me.
Yeah, I mean, all of that sounds really good, doesn't it? How do you feel about that, Stu? But
Yes,
then what happens? Yeah, what happens then if I tell you that he's got or he's studied at the B.S. Haas School of Business, University of California, that's Berkeley, and then he has an MBA Stanford, GSB. Currently, his professional roles include president of the San Francisco 49ers, 2001 till present, senior associate consultant, Bain and Company. That was a very short spell, 2 years, between 1999 and 2001. Account associate at the International Management Group, IMG, that was between 1997 and 1999. He has also got a number of teaching degrees and what have you. And that's all based in the sports and media. Those are all sports and media related. Negotiation dynamics in sport, entertainment, and media is the actual description of that. So I'm not 100% convinced. Is it just a case of it's an easy business opportunity, or it's a business opportunity where there's plenty of room for expansion? It's obviously been identified that Leeds is a club that shouldn't be where it is. It's struggling to compete, and I think when I've spoken in the past, some fans are kind of deluded that we're a big club. And you keep hearing this, oh, we're a big club and we should this, we should that. And it's like, if we were a big club, we wouldn't be in this situation. So from a business point of view, I think it's a case of stopping the rot that's been happening at Leeds over the last year. The opportunities there, it's been identified that we're in the mess and we shouldn't be in the mess, and it shouldn't be too much effort and too much money but to get us out of it. But I think when they're realising the amount of money that's involved in running a football club, and you're trying to compete against these what I call big clubs. I mean, let's just talk about the three so far. We've got Rice. How much was that? 100 million, 105, and that's we're going to where Arsenal, big club, £100 million is a big club, I think, and I think football's going to go through this. It's sinkers and swimmers, isn't it? Clubs are going to be able to compete to get these top players. Then we've got Bellingham. He's gone 100 million, and then who's the other 100 million player? Chelsea. Is it Chelsea now? Huh?
Is it like Uncooked from Chelsea? No, Enzo Fernandez.
Enzo Fernandez, and then there's another talk about another England international for 100 million, isn't there? Mount, is it Mason Mount?
He went for 60, didn't he? It's 65.
65, and I mean we're talking about our transfer record is what, £35 million, and that was on Rutte.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not a big up to this point. We're not a big club. We're in monetary terms, we're not a big club. All right, fan base, but let's say fan base. Let's use YouTube channels as the fan base. We're at about nearly 400,000 subs on that. And the other clubs are, Man United is into the millions. So we're not a big club, I don't think. We've got a lot of fans around the world, but nowhere near the numbers that Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham have. I mean, there's a big banner hanging downstairs. It's got Fulham. It was a banner that they made last season for the Premier League. Anyway, we move on. I digress, and let me just have a little look, make sure I can get that interview back onto the screen. There we go. Right, okay.
Is that I think I have a particular empathy and understanding of everybody's job at the club because I've done all those jobs. Right, 23 years at the 49ers, coming from an unpaid intern to just cutting my teeth in an environment where everybody counted me out. Right, I didn't play American football growing up. In fact, I played the other football growing up, but I didn't play American football, so I didn't look the part of an NFL executive. And so certainly, the color of my skin doesn't look the part of what an NFL executive should look either. And so 23 years ago, imagine the criticism and skepticism that I got probably for a decade of people saying I don't belong. But I had many of those jobs. I've been the head negotiator. I still am. I've been the president and chief exec of a team. I've built a stadium. I've hired coaches. I've been through the troughs and I've been through the peaks of mountains, or almost peaks of mountains in sports. And so I've seen it all and I've been through it all. So I have a particular empathy for everybody's job that I think is going to serve me well in this role, because, even just take the football negotiations piece. Yeah. Okay. It took a long time for us to get approvals, but, to our supporters at Leeds, like, just know this is my lifeblood. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I do. I've negotiated contracts in my sleep. And so at the 49ers for a long time. And so, to jump in and help lend a hand with players and agents. Yeah. The ball is shaped differently and the sport is different, but the agent game and the player game, it's very much the same. And that's what I made a name for myself in American sports. And so a lot of those same things I'm going to be able to apply. And I think that just differentiates me from any other club's chairman.
Stu, your thoughts on that? Apparently, I cut you off there, Stu.
I didn't realise that you did, Gary, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. But go ahead.
My thoughts on what he just says, like he says, he seems to be very determined to me. Like he said, I was told that I didn't belong, but he carried on. He got through it. He's been through troughs. He's been into mountains. I think he's saying all the right things as the chairman of Leeds United.
I kind of like what he said there about, he's dealt with the agents, he's dealt with contract negotiations, he's done everything. I mean, that amount of time in the business in the US, I think is probably going to be a huge benefit to us. But as we said at the beginning, up until this point, he's been very much in the background. We've not heard very much from him. I think I've only ever seen one video from him, and that wasn't very detailed. But I think in this, that we're going to find out a little bit more about structures and things like that, which is going to be a good thing for the fans, good thing for us to find out about. So let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, really interesting. Actually, there's a few things that you alluded to there that I would love to ask you about. I mean, the 49ers website itself does label you as chief contract negotiator and salary cap architect. Now, obviously, we don't have a salary cap, but there is FFP and various other things to consider. And us being in the championship will mean that perhaps we will have to get imaginative with some of our contracts. Is that something that you're hoping to have a hands-on role at Leeds going forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think it serves the club well for me too. I want to be careful here because part of my ethos and what I'm about is also hiring the best possible people and letting them and empowering them to do their jobs. Right. Mm-hmm. So I definitely don't want to. The best chairmen and owners are ones that don't need to talk too much, and so hopefully this is one of only a few that I do, and because we're kicking off. But the best owners, I think that'll be
music to a lot of people's ears, by the way, what you just said there.
Yeah, in my mind, the best chairmen are ones that just lay in the background, lend support where needed, expertise where needed, obviously investment when needed, but let the people do their job and be great at their job. And in fact, if they're not, then find somebody else who is. But yes, I do think, especially now, given this transitional period and given my expertise, it's not just that I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work, but I think I have a particular expertise to be able to help do that and navigate PNS and FFP and all of those things. And the truth is, we want to do this not just because we're trying to do this balancing act and maintain good finances, but no, we want to be aggressive. We want to get right back up as soon as we can. And we want to do what it takes, because to us, the championship hopefully is just a speed bump in our way to a much longer path that we're going on. So we want to be aggressive as we can be, which is probably going to require us being as creative as we can be as well.
All Leeds, aren't we? The official Leeds United podcast.
I'm presuming you'll still be very involved with the 49ers back in San Francisco. So what would you say finally there, just to people who might have a concern that you're spreading yourself too thin? What would you say to that? Like you personally?
I think, like I said a few minutes ago, the most important thing to me is hiring a really quality management team, executive staff, football staff, manager, and letting them do their job. If I did a good job at that and hired really great people, then my responsibility is simply to help write checks, to lend advice, to do daily phone calls or weekly phone calls and chats and Zooms with people. Of course, I'll be there much more frequently. But if I'm doing my job well, then people are just checking in with me, and I'm already in tune, in lockstep, in the flow of what's going on, not needing to jump in and come and do this or do that. And so hopefully I do my job well, where that's the most important thing for me, is hiring the people who are very good at their job.
Amazing. I'm sure the fans will be very thrilled to hear that. Okay.
You're on mute, Gary.
Yeah, thanks for that, Stu. Just having a bit of conversation there. I think going into that, this is the kind of structure that perhaps we've been missing, where the chairman doesn't really do too much, just signs things off, doesn't have to validate the decisions that are coming up to him. And, it sounds to me like he's going to let Farker, Hammond, and then we've got another guy coming in, haven't we, Stu? You know a little bit about that, the Tottenham guy.
Yeah,
what's the story there?
Well, he's going to be coming in as the technical director. He worked at Spurs last season under Paratici. He's got a bit of experience. in this role, and I think what that basically reverts back to when Paraag said that he's going to employ the best people to do the jobs and let them do the jobs, and I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, to be honest with you, he's going to start bringing some stability in to the club. Start bringing in stronger characters, better candidates, people who are going to do the job, and there are going to be some kind of checks and balances system there, where not one guy's going to be in charge of it. I think, which is probably where our problem's been in the past, where Orta was concerned, and certainly Radrazani seems to have thrown Orta under the bus a little bit today with his Sky Sports interview. Is that today? Is it, or is it today? Yeah. Today, just to confirm that 19th of July. Is it? Yes, it's 19th of July now where I am. It's 18th where you are. So, apparently it's 18th of July. So, a lot to be said. I think I'm liking a lot of the noises. We'll certainly have a look at the comments on this video, because I think a number of comments have been made and it all seems quite positive. So we'll go and have a look at those in a minute or two.
Okay, now I want to ask you about Leeds United. Where did this all come from? Why Leeds United was the option for 49ers Enterprises?
Yeah, we've been asked that question a lot, and why not go do this or go do that? And now, if Leeds wanted to take a top club, why not go at a Champions League club or something like that? I'll tell you, the root of it is this was almost maybe 10 years ago now, when we were looking at, all right, when we first decided we want to get involved in European football and kind of surveyed the landscape of what else is out there. The one uncut diamond that was out there that reminded me so much of what the 49ers were when I first started was Leeds United. Here was this great club with such historic success and having won championships 40 years ago, again 30 years ago, and then obviously had fallen on hard times and multiple ownership groups ago through there. The 49ers were not that much different when I started in 2001. Had 5 Super Bowl trophies, but at the time we were playing in the oldest unrenovated stadium in the NFL, and we were struggling on and off the pitch. And we had to do a lot of work to get it back to where it is today, which is reminiscent of those glory days. And Leeds United just reminded me of that. And then you add some of the other pieces, which is that it is the only one club town. It is the biggest one club town, one of the biggest in all of Europe. And there's something special about that, where you go to London and your neighbor is an Arsenal fan, your doctor is a Chelsea fan, your wife might be a Tottenham fan, and you're something else. Like here, Leeds United is everybody's little brother and little sister. And I guess that's a blessing and a curse because of the profile that comes with it, but I love it. It's like that little brother that inside of the house and inside your household, you're going to pick on them, you're going to poke them, you're going to make fun of them, you're going to criticize them. Outside of the house, if anyone pokes fun of your little brother, you're going to protect them at all costs and do what it takes. And I love that. And so calling somebody even a supporter is kind of a misnomer. And even calling me a chairman or an owner is a misnomer, because we're all the same. I just happen to be the one carrying the torch at the moment. But there's just something special. There's something that there's something much more beautiful that's going to come when we cut this diamond and it becomes one of the brightest in the skies of European football.
Were you aware of Leeds United before the 49ers?
Right, a couple of things there, Stu. Go ahead.
I liked what he's saying. It's getting me excited, Gary. It's getting me excited.
Yeah.
There is, as you think about it, it's right. We are a one city. We are a one club city. There's huge potential. We was a big club once upon a time. We've still got the big fan base, but we can become a big club again. But it's going to take a lot of work, and it sounds to me like it's willing to put in the effort.
I mean, I'm not so sure how the people of Leeds would be, if they'd be thrilled about being described as living in a town.
Yeah, well, yeah.
that by the by, we are an uncut diamond. I think he's making all the right notes, isn't he? And talking
Yes.
about all the right things and trying to, reinvigorate us and get everybody behind the club again, because perhaps a number of fans have become a bit disillusioned and stuff like that. And anyway, I'm going to just mute myself as I play the rest of this one for the next few minutes, because I've got a visitor, so you might see him popping up on the screen in a moment or two. Why don't you go to bed, jet lag, la la la. I don't know. I think his little system's all out of sync. Let's go.
Enterprises began searching for a club.
Yeah, I was. Remember, I consumed sports for.
Right.
I didn't read a book. I didn't read a book for pleasure until I had to when I got to college, and even then, I used Cliff Notes as long as I could to get by. But the one book or the one thing I read front to back was Sports Page or Sports Almanacs or learning about different leagues. So I just love it, and so I love the competition. So I'd heard it. I had obviously known about Leeds. I played football from age 5, 6, growing up through college, and so I loved the sport. So yes, I had.
It's a thing that I'm always interested in, because I live in Florida now, but having grown up in Leeds all my life, I'm always interested when I talk to people over here in the United States, and you do get a handful of people who have maybe played at college or whatever, and are students of the game, and they all know Leeds United. But there's that kind of that demographic that we wanted to hit, that were sort of just getting into Premier League, but weren't as well versed in maybe the history of football. And the last 3 years, obviously, we've started to attract their attention. Is that a big part of moving forward, what you want to do with Leeds? I mean, not just as a brand, but just as making us a household name in the United States as well as just in Europe.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a byproduct of it, because I think we have a big enough task and a fun enough task and a massive enough task in the UK and in Yorkshire itself. There's so much bigger. It's so much bigger that the club can be in the UK. And there's 2.4 million people in Yorkshire, and Leeds is the third largest city in the UK. There's so much opportunity already there. And sure, if a nice little byproduct is I get the opportunity to see folks wearing Tyler Adams jerseys around the Bay Area, that's going to be fantastic too. That's not the goal, though. The goal is to make it as special as it can be in the UK. And it's a movement. I think we all had a taste. We had a taste those 3 years that we were in the Premier League, and it was fleeting, and it sucked. And I hated the fact that we didn't get to stay in there. But one thing that it did show me is everyone talks about how Leeds belongs in the Premier League because it's a big club and all that. And that's true. But let's all not forget that to an equal degree, the Premier League needs Leeds because call it whatever you want, the way we play, the history, the tenacity by which we play, which is just different from some other clubs. The Premier League needs us. They know they need us. We need to be there and we belong, but they need us too. Because we make the league that much special, because just coming back to what I said before is there's something different about Leeds. It's a combination of a lot of things, but it's not any of these other clubs. And yes, a lot of those clubs have great success, better success than we have had, but we have something that they don't have. And there's a movement underneath the surface that I can just feel percolating. And I want to be a part of that movement. And I can't wait to see what it becomes in 5, 10, 15 years.
I want to focus on the future in a moment, and we can forget about what's come before. But you just seem to have really bought into the culture of Leeds United, and you say we and us, and you've already talking about the hands-on approach you enjoy. You've been here for years now, 5 years. Just how difficult's it actually been, sort of having to bite your lip at times and not being able to act on things that maybe you thought from this deep-rooted passion you clearly have. Just how tricky has that been? And then we'll move on from the past after that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been very hard. I've not been one to I'm a pretty open, honest, direct person. And so I like to say what I mean and mean what I say. And so when I observe something or there's something that I think can be done a little bit better, it was challenging to bite my lip. And just, stay in my seat, so to speak, and watch the plane fly. And obviously there's times here and there where we can add advice, especially on the commercial side as we're looking to do certain things. But for the most part, the best way I could describe it was me taking notes. And I have multiple notebooks of notes now of how I would like to do things.
That's very, very interesting. And on that note, the future. So obviously, the biggest decision probably that we had to make in a first team manager, Daniel Farke. Happy to get that appointment made.
Yeah, really happy. He's got a quiet confidence about him that is infectious, magnetic. Where you spend enough time with him around the room, you believe whatever he believes, just because of the confidence by which he carries himself. That's a qualitative thing. The quantitative thing is he's been damn successful, right? He didn't just win the championship twice. He dominated the championship twice. He knows what it takes. He knows the grit. He knows the fight. He knows the blood, sweat, and tears it's going to take to get through the championship. And let me be clear: this isn't a short-term thing either. I don't think he had a fair deck of cards when he got back up to the Premier League. His two shots at it, and so that's one thing that we're going to rectify and give him the deck of cards that he needs to be successful once we get back up. Because I think he could be a very, very successful coach across Europe. This isn't just, hey, get us through the championship. He's got a style of play that I think resonates with our supporters, a style of play that I think are the players that we have. It fits the players that we have. He's been known to develop youngsters, and as you know, we've got a great crop of youngsters at the club through the academy as well. And so there's one thing, he's got a great empathy, which I appreciate. He's got a great understanding for the feelings of people and how the feelings of people, not just players, but coaches and staff and ownership, and how that all interacts to form a good chemistry of a team. And that's one thing that I found really important in American football in a head coach, was having that deep empathy and understanding. And I think he's really got that too.
Listening on together.
One of the things that I've just, from the fact that you've come onto the show today to talk to us, one of the things that
it's one of those things that this business, this little bit here makes me laugh a little bit, because he's saying one of the things about coming onto the show. I mean, come on, he's the chairman of the football club. He can come on the show whenever he likes. But a couple of the interesting bits that he says, that Farke is empathetic. He's probably had a bit of a rough time when Norwich did get promoted those 2 seasons. But he has got an outstanding record as the manager of Norwich City. Excuse me, because I've got all sorts going on in the background here with you know who. On himself, he says that he's open and honest. These are interesting bits, that he's bought into the culture at Leeds. He's worked hard behind the scenes to try and get things sorted out in the amount of time that has been given to him. It makes me wonder just how long he's actually been doing that, and I suspect it's been going on for in excess of 6 months. To be honest with you, he said he's quote unquote, he likes to say what I mean and mean what I say. Which is a very interesting one, and it's one that I've used in the past. That if you say something, you've got to back it up with the action. That this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to do, and whether you like it or not, this is the direction that we're going in. And it sounds like one of the things that interested me is, they may well have been looking at Leeds United for in excess of 5 years, which tells me that they've been doing a lot of research and things like that behind, before they came in, and Radrazani persuaded them to come in. Did Radrazani persuade them, or did they just come in with an offer for the initial 15%, and he just said, "Yep, let's do it"? It's a bit of a strange one. Still lots of unanswered questions, Stu, but you never know. We might find these out at one point in the future. I personally think, and I'll stand by it, I think we've made a great decision getting Fark in. If I'm not brutally honest, I don't see any other candidate at the time who was going to get even close to Fark's CV. So, let's hope that if Fark does take us up this season, and that seems like the intention, that he's been told that your target is promotion, and that's it. With this squad of players, we're wanting you to try and get us promoted by hook or by crook. Preferably it's got to be winning it as champions, and it can't be anything else as far as I'm concerned. So there we go.
I'm really interested in his.
I'll see what else goes on.
The openness, trying to remove some of the more clandestine elements of backroom football. What's the interview process like when you're trying to get a new manager? And obviously, the relegation adds a whole new element, a new league, and in terms of the caliber of players you can bring in, adds a whole different perspective on that managerial appointment. I mean, what's that been like for the past few weeks?
Yeah, I think Daniel mentioned it a little bit in his media comments the other day, that it was kind of a two-way interview. And that's a really fair assessment, because it wasn't just, okay, here's a club with great history, no doubt. Here's a club that was in the Premier League for 3 years and just got relegated. Here's a club that we're not exactly sure which players are staying and which players are going. And oh, by the way, here's a club that we're not exactly done yet with who the owner and chairman's going to be, right? So there's a lot of questions that candidates needed answering to as well. And some of it is still fluid. And so it was very much us talking about our vision, and me talking about my vision and where we are today, but where I think we're going and what steps we are going to invest and take to be able to get there. And then it was obviously hearing from the candidates. And so I think, I've got a lot of experience with this in hiring coaches and general managers at the 49ers, along with our club owner there. And I think, one of the great lessons I've learned is tactically, of course, those things are important. And we had people there in our interview process that were more attuned to the sort of tactical elements of coaching football. But what I was looking for was much deeper than that, was a little more meta than that. What I was looking for were things like, leadership and empathy and confidence and level of detail, meticulousness, ability to inspire, those type of things that differentiate a great leader or a great manager from a good manager. Those are the things that I'm looking for and interviewing for. And to me, Daniel checked all those boxes.
Well, you talked a moment ago about obviously supporting him if and when we get promoted, but that's in the future. Right now, we're aware that the championship is our focus, and that can only be our focus. So, what are the plans and ambitions for the club in this short-term promotion drive, and how are you gonna back Daniel in this window?
Yeah, the short-term plans is really to put as competitive of a squad together on the pitch that we can. Obviously governed by some of the rules of the EFL and what we're able to do and not able to do, but we want to go as strong as possible. And yes, there's a history of odds with bounce back clubs and things like that, but we also want to double down with having a very high quality squad as well, as best we can, to keep as many guys as we can. To be able to bounce back up. So, I want to give him all the resources that he needs off the pitch, but also try to maximize the resources that we can keep on the pitch.
Are we confident of trying to keep a few of our sort of players that had performed well last season?
We're trying to. We're doing our best.
Right. And so you mentioned earlier with regard to Levi's Stadium, the 49ers Stadium, that when you first got involved with San Francisco, they were in a dilapidated ground that needed a lot of work. And now I've been to Levi Stadium. It's a beautiful, state-of-the-art, incredible match day experience. Is the ground something you guys are focused on as well?
Yes, we do. We'll be talking about it in short order, but we do still want to go forward with the stadium expansion plans. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes over the last 8 months on it. We'll in due time share more details. I think the biggest thing the most important thing that I'll share though is that we don't want to take away from the magic that is Ellen Road. We don't want to take away from. There's a particular menacing atmosphere there. And that raises the hair on the back of your neck when you go in, whether you're an away fan or a home supporter, and you don't want to take away from that.
How was that when you first experienced it?
I loved it. I forgot that I was an investor and vice chairman and whatever. I was a fan, and I loved it.
Interesting that he says all of these things. Phil says he agrees with Big Mally, hoping he's true to his word and making all the right noises, and seems highly motivated and passionate to make this happen, MOT. As we all do. One of the things that I found interesting was, quote unquote, Paraag Marathe says, with regards to the purchase of Leeds, he said in April, I think we'll all like this one, we feel we have pretty good experience in running a sports organisation. We feel like we've done a pretty good job in transforming the 49ers from an asset value standpoint, commercial revenue standpoint, and on the field. We know how to transition from a lemonade stand to a more sophisticated business operation. A lemonade stand. Stu, is that how you would describe Leeds United at the end of Rad Rosani's tenureship?
Well, let's be honest, it didn't go to plan, did it? And there were a lot of things that went wrong. They've all been catalogued what went wrong. I think Paraag knew that he had a big job and a big task ahead, and but I do right. I mean, how do I say it? Right, it's going to say the right things to please the fans, but I do think that he's trying to be a bit more open and upfront than what I thought it was going to be. If I'm honest, Gary, because this is the first time I've heard of it. You see, I didn't hear it before because I knew we were going to do the show. So I'm clinging on to what words he says. And I'm normally, after about 10 minutes of an interview, I get bored. But this one, he's saying the right things at the right time. He's using a bit of humour as well, which I like.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think usually with interviews and stuff like that, it depends on who it is and what they're talking about. It says the real question becomes whether and to what extent Marathe's involvement with Leeds will reduce his involvement with the 49ers. He has been quiet. This is an American's NBCSports.com interview. He's been quiet but critical component of the organisation in recent years, especially when it comes to negotiating contracts. So the contract negotiation side of it is an accountancy lecturer as well. So when it comes to numbers and running businesses, there's nobody better placed. But when it comes to getting results and improving us, that's the key thing for us, isn't it? The on-field stuff is the stuff that the fans that we want to know about. That is he going to be capable of doing these things? And this is why his recruitment has got to be bang on, hasn't it? There's no other way to describe it. I think we're almost at the end anyway.
The only thing I hated was sitting down. And so it's just like, I just, there's something about that you don't want to take away. It is I guess the only thing I'll say, somewhat tongue in cheek, is that a club's stadium is a temple. It is religious. You don't want to take that away from a team, from its supporters or anything. It's a temple. And so even everything that we want to do, we want to expand the stadium, but we don't want to take away from the authenticity of that temple.
You've obviously mentioned the academy, which is going to play a huge role this season, no doubt. But Leeds being a real community club. I wanted to just ask a quick question about the women's teams. Are you still hoping to focus very much on that side of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the growth in the women's game, or the really big growth in the women's game, is still to come. The level of talent and the competitiveness of the women's leagues is really tremendous. We've got a good squad. You see what's happening. There's a groundswell happening in the U.S. already with the NWSL. And how popular that has become and where it's going. And I think the same can be said over here. And so absolutely, both the academy and the women's clubs are very much a part of the fabric of what we want to build. Because like I said, the movement is all of Leeds. It's not just the first team, men's. It's the movement is everything that this club is about, the essence of all of those things combined.
Well, I can only thank you for coming on today, Paraag. I think that's been incredibly interesting. It's been a real pleasure getting to know you and sort of getting an insight into your way of thinking. I would just like to ask you one last question: is do you have anything to say to the fans? We're coming into this new season. It's been a difficult few years, but it's a new dawn now in many ways. So I would like to give you the floor and say, what would you like to say to all the fans?
That's a good one. I haven't thought about this. So I'm going to just riff here and we could decide later.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
I think I share supporters' passion for this club. I share the excitement. One of my best moments in all of sports in my multiple decades in sports was the moment we got promoted. And even though it was in the middle of COVID, I was running around the streets of my neighborhood. Made myself I won't say what drink I made, but I made myself a few drinks and we're just running around the streets and enjoying myself. It was a beautiful moment. I also share the same frustrations. I share the same frustrations of why did this happen, or why didn't we do that, or how could we let this happen, and this happened too soon, or we didn't do this took too long. I share all those same frustrations. Just know that I come at this with all of my experience to bear, both as a fan and with my football and my commercial experience, to do the best job that I can to get this club right. And yeah, I'm going to make some mistakes, but I'm also going to get a lot of things right. I'm a supporter first and foremost, and I just happen to be I happen to be a chairman with a little bit more of a different background, and I'm going to apply that background and do the best I can to get this club back and make this club a club that we're all proud of, myself included. And yeah, we're going to still be critical and we're still going to be frustrated at times, but more often than not, I'm confident we're going to build something that we're all going to be proud to pass on to our kids and our kids' kids.
I thank you so much for your time and for your openness. I'm looking very much forward to this season and the plans that you guys have for it. I'll let you get back to what I imagine is a very busy schedule for the new season. So thank you again, Paraag.
No problem.
That is very, very kind. Ladies and gentlemen, Leeds United's new chairman, Paraag Marathe. Thank you so much.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.
Yeah, I like that.
Right, yeah, I think if we just look at this one, Jason says, "Hi Stu, great to catch you live. I'm slightly less panic-stricken now that we seem to be moving on in the transfer window." I certainly agree that that interview makes me feel a little bit, although it's probably scripted. The questions are kind of scripted. He knows what he's going to get asked before he's asked it, so he kind of knows what's coming his way. But overall, I mean, the official podcast there has had a lot of views. It's sitting at 9 hours ago, 33,000 views, which is excellent. It means a lot of Leeds fans football fans, mostly Leeds fans, I wouldn't expect, but that they have indeed watched it. Just oozes. I'll just read a couple of the comments out because I think when we look at comments and stuff, I think that kind of gives you. We'll just read the first few out because there are 231 comments on that video. rightfully so, isn't it? I think from a Leeds fan point of view that we're going to get uh, a lot of us having a good look at that. I think after all the ups and downs and all the rest of it, we're going to be feeling a little bit more assured, perhaps. John 524 says 5424 says he just oozes professionalism, competence, exactly what the club needs. Seems very. Paul Wilson 1555 says seems very honest, passionate, and dedicated to the task in hand. I wish him all the very best for him and our club. American in Leeds fan here says, rest assured, Paraag will absolutely guide Leeds back to near the top of the Premier League. In the last 5 years, the 49ers have become one of the savviest and most successful teams in the NFL. They have probably the deepest roster or squad in the league. He's been instrumental in the Renaissance, and I think he could do the same at Leeds. This is interesting stuff. Red Dead Brett. I think that might be a Red Dead Redemption account. One of my favourite games. Love that game. Really happy with his excitement. I hope he backs his talk with the action. We all want to see an upgrade at Elland Road. Roaring in the Champions League again. Let's see the foundation for a more professional, efficient club model that can be built rather than borderline amateur, frankly immature governance that we've had at times over the past decade. Let's get it done, 49ers. Tommy Fitzgerald 9828 says, really nice to hear from him. He's an impressive guy, and I'm looking forward to what the future brings at the helm. Thank Matt. Marcharter 839. Thank God I'm excited for my club as an American and Leeds United diehard. Let's go, boys. MOT. Bezig, uncut diamond of a club. Love that. Seems like a sound, laser focused individual. Come on, Leeds. Stu, your thoughts?
Well, look. What I liked about him, yes, a lot of them questions restricted, but I also think when he gives the answers, you could see that he meant what he said. And look, I don't think anyone buys a football club to fail. I think everyone who wants to buy a football club is a football club because they're a winner. They want to win. But he did come across to me. I thought Paraag being American, and I don't mean this in a nasty way, but I associate American people with confident people as confident people, but he come across as down to earth to me. And I hope we hear more from him. I really do. I liked what he's got to say. I think he's I'm not saying that away from him every day because I don't. That's not. That's not reasonable. But if we can hear from him, say like I don't know, just now Christmas time, end of season, so we heard like three times a season from him. I think that's going to go a long way. So for the Leeds fans to set to me even more than what they already do. Because I were worried with him being American and the Americans not working like FSG and stuff like that. Yes, they've had success, but they haven't got good rapport with the fan base at Liverpool. Glazers and United don't have a good rapport with Glazers. I'm hoping that this is going to be different. I really do. I want this to work. I really want it to work.
Just a quick one there. You might have noticed that or not noticed it, but the 49ers stadium is called the Levi Stadium, so one assumes that that's some kind of sponsorship deal. Would you be happy with it being called the Budweiser Stadium and Elland Road being named under a sponsorship deal, or do you think that'd go down like a sack of lead with the Leeds fans?
I think as long as it stays at Elland Road, as long as the football stays at Elland Road, they can call it the Lurpax. They can call it the the Stars and Stripes Stadium for me. As long
Yeah.
as it's kept at Ellen Road, and we wear the famous white kit at home, the yellow kit away, and the blue kit as a third kit. I am more than happy for them to call it what they want. They've bought it, they've invested money into it. They've got a right to be able, to name it what they want to name it.
Yeah, if the club if that sponsorship money comes in and it's transformed into transfer money that can help the club somehow secure better players that are going to get the job done for us at this level, then it wouldn't bother me if they call it the Ellen Road Budweiser Stadium. But a lot of fans would not be happy with that. But let's just see what happens. A couple of comments coming in from Jason. Does Paraag agree Leeds United fans are the best? I miss asking him because he came up on the phone. Because Ad came up on the. Right. Yeah, I mean I think he's very. I think he's kind of respectful of the fans, isn't he? The fans' wishes. Yeah. I personally think a lot of fans would say no. We don't want the stadium renaming, and we don't really care how much money you're getting for it. We're not really happy with that, but it depends how much we need the investment, doesn't it? I think that it's another one of those business decisions that they're going to make, and fans don't have a say in it, I'm afraid. And that's the end of it. Thank God the ground wasn't sold from under us. I said that wasn't the case. I said it was just a temporary measure in the last live stream, or one of the live streams we did, talking about the charge put on it by Radrazani. It's just a cash flow problem that it could take them a week or two to get that sort of money and get it resolved, and one assumes that that's all been sorted out now. We want Leeds United to go back feeling like a family again, from pitch to board. Yeah. I mean, the whole buzz that Bielsa created at Leeds, I can honestly see Farke is going to recreate that. He's going to get us feeling a bit positive again. It's been a horrible year. It's not great. But I honestly think that Farke is going to do the business for us. Oh my God, I'm going to read this next comment out as well. It's from my brother. You think many stadiums have names these days? Well, look at our neighbours, innit? The dog botherers. What's that called at Huddersfield? Is it still the McAlpine? It used to be the McAlpine, didn't it?
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
His stadium's called Valley Parade, isn't it?
Yeah. That's just a street, though, isn't it? Or is it? Yeah.
It's called Valley Parade Stadium, isn't it?
Valley Parade Stadium, yeah. So that's sticks with the tradition, doesn't it? Is Farke the second coming? I'll bring that up in a minute. Let's go Leeds. Yeah, it's my brother. He's let's go Leeds at the Tesla Stadium. Elon, bring us some batteries and some Teslas.
Yeah, put some charging ports in quick.
And I'm being mocked by my son. He's in the other room. I don't know if you can hear that.
Well,
Elon,
he's trying to keep you on your toes, mate. That's what he's doing.
He's in his playpen. Elon, bring me some batteries and get Stu a Tesla and get me a Tesla. Get Daddy a Tesla as well. Can you hear him? You couldn't hear him then, could you? Could you hear that?
Yeah.
You could?
Yeah.
Oh, he's laughing his head off in the background. He's hey, Daddy. So there we go. Is Farke the second coming? I'll add... Elon! Yes, Farke is the second coming. I'm going to end this live stream in a moment.
Mally's right. It's called the John Smith Stadium.
John Smith Stadium, apparently. Yeah, he's going all out for Elon. Let's bring Elon on board. Stick a couple of billion into pot. That'll sort us out, won't it? It's electrifying. Oh my God! Here come the puns. It'll certainly give us the charge that we need. As watching Leeds United charge up the league. I don't have a boom boom sound effect, so I'll just do one myself. That was terrible, wasn't it? Have you got any, Stu? As we close this, it's electrifying. It's electrifying, isn't it? Yeah.
Let's just hope it's a prepaid meter and not a token.
Shocking! Oh my God! Shocking is that? Shocking that cheek! Oh my God! Buzzing! Oh, we're getting it all now, aren't we? Elon Musk invested like a bolt out of the blue. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. But anyway, if it did. Right, well, I think what we do is we end the stream there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our reaction video. Oh my God, here comes another comment, Stu. Here it is. Yes, I'm wired for the season. Let's go. Oh, they're all terrible. We can use Stroik's head in the meter.
Let's just hope we have that jump start we need, eh?
Let's all hope so. I mean, that friendly against Man United wasn't really anything to go by, was it? It was just more like a training session, I think, for both sets of players. Was that? But
it's all about the pre-season friendly results don't matter to me much. It's the style of play, and
yeah,
that's all that matters to me in them games.
Yeah. It matters to me. I think if we have a good pre-season, it puts us in a good place against the first 6 fixtures that we have. And I think the first one's Cardiff. Let's hope we're not shocking.
Still in shock with that one.
Oh, Stu, stop it. But when I was at Ellen Road, there was a bit of a buzz around the place the other day. Woo! Dear me. I think I need a Model Y for that one, don't I? That was a good one.
Jet lag's kicking in. That jet lag.
I know. Yeah. No, there's no jet lag here. I've just got a 14-month-old who's, I don't know. I think he's been taking something.
Have you plugged him into bloody electric?
I think he's been plugged into electric. Yeah, sounds like a bloody dinosaur. I don't know. The British Gas Stadium. Oh, surely that's an old. Aren't British Gas an old fossil these days?
Well, they're taking out gas fires out, putting in electric out.
Yeah, fitting an electric, yeah. I don't know. Right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm going to leave a video up here. Go over and see Stu over there. He's on the disabled team if you're not already subscribed. And all the very best to you. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Take care of yourselves. Good night to you. Not a plug. And we'll see you all next time. Puns out. All a load of hot air. Oh my God, that's another bad one. End this broadcast now. Stop it, you lot.
Running out of juice, mate. Running out of juice.